Hi everyone, it's Sharon. Today we're going to be doing a Bible art journaling page on Psalms 5:3, which says, O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. So today we're doing a landscape, and I've started out by penciling in some mountains in the background, and I've colored in a sunrise, and now I'm going into trace my mountains out with a warm gray, about 70% warm gray, and I'm going to be putting in some white cap, snow-capped mountains in there too. But also I wanted to tell you about my pencil sharpener, which you're going to see in just a second. It's called the Periscope 64 sharpener. R-A-P-E-S-C-O. It's a manual sharpener that works terrifically. What you do is you can't push a pencil right in. You have to pull out the white top and then squeeze the black button and insert your pencil. You wind it and it will slowly close, and when your pencil is sharpened completely, you'll feel it release in the handle, and you have a perfectly sharpened pencil every single time. It never breaks a lead. It's terrific. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Now I'm putting in the snow-capped mountains there, and then I'll be going back with my 70% gray, warm gray, in the mountains. And I'm just coloring this in quickly. Back and forth. Now normally with colored pencils, if you've seen color pencil artists work, they don't usually work in a back and forth motion like this. What they do is they use a circular motion, which I'll show in a minute. But it's such a tedious job, and since this is just an art journal page, it really isn't necessary. But you can see that there's a lot of white in this coloring still, and it's because the tooth is not picking up all of that color. That's why you go in a circular motion like I'm showing you now, and you can see the difference. So here I'm just using more pressure, and then I'm going in at a different angle to try to color in more of that tooth of the paper. Then I'm going to go in with another color, more of a burnt sienna color. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a reddish brown, and I just add a little bit more color here and there to give some character to the mountains. Now because this is a sunrise, you'll see the sun is kind of poking through those mountains, so it's going to pick up light on those edges of the mountains that are facing the sun. And I realized that I was going in with these dark colors, and now I have to go back in and darken the backs of the mountains that are in shadow. And I'm not doing this super neat. I would have taken more time with it if it were something super important. But anyway, I do that. And then later in the video, you're going to see the mountains change again, where I have decided to add some, like a bluish purple, to those shadowed areas of the mountains that will also give it some distance and push it back. In landscape painting or drawing, when you're using color, you use value as well. So if you were using just a graphite pencil, you would use different weights of graphite in order to get your depth in your drawing. With colored pencil, you can use color to do this. Here I'm using a bluish green to put in distant trees in the mountains here and there. And like I said, when you're in the background, you're going to use cool colors. Cool blues, cool greens, cool yellows, cool reds. And then as you come forward in a landscape, you're slowly going to warm that color up. By putting blues in your colors, you're going to make them recede. And by warming them or bringing them up in warmth with red, warm yellows, warm reds, warm greens, then you will bring the foreground forward. It prevents it from looking real flat. Now, I get off frame here, and I apologize. This is like only my second or third video I had done. And I was painting or drawing in a pine tree over on the right-hand side that you'll see in just a second. And then I decided to add some rocks to the foreground. There it is. And on the rocks, you can see they're darker in the bases, lighter at the tops, where the light would be hitting it. Now I'm just adding some sprigs of grass and some flowers here and there to liven up the landscape a little more. God's creation is beautiful, that's for sure. And there's so much to draw and paint. But this is a nice, easy landscape for a beginner who's just learning to draw. I think you should try it, and you might really enjoy it. Now here I'm making my tab, and I use a tab punch and punch out 2 pieces of matching paper, and then on the front I write my word. I'm writing prayer, and when I write my words, in order to center them, I use the middle letters first. And so here I'm going to write the AY first in the center, and then I will go back to the left. There's my A, there you go, AY, and then I'll go back to the left and write my R and my P, and then my E and my Y on the right-hand side. And then I'm just darkening along the left-hand sides of the letters, thickening it up in order to give it a little character, a little different font look. When I'm done with that, I'm taking one of those Scotch double-sided sticky tapes and just rolling it across the back in a couple places, on the front one and the back one. And I take the back one and I lay it in straight, as straight as I can, and then I take the top one and I carefully line up the tab and then stick it down, and I've got my tabs. And then when you close it, you can see, although I'm off frame, there's my tabs right there. Have a nice day, everybody. Oh, and if you look at the end, I put in, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice." God bless.